As we all know, there's no better moment for any NBA team than when they win a championship, a feat that only 20 franchise teams have ever achieved in the history of the NBA. And today, we're going to talk about my top 5 teams from the last 30 years. Let's go. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Sports Sanctuary, a YouTube channel dedicated to all things sports with all the latest news, in-depth analysis, and comical hot takes that should be good for a few laughs. So if you're a diehard sports fan who's looking for weekly sports content, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and make sure you turn on the notifications so you can get alerted every time that I upload a new video. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump into today's video, because today we're going to take a look back at what I believe to be the 5 greatest NBA teams from the last 30 years, which is an incredibly difficult list to put together given the changes that have taken place over basketball across that period of time. And to be clear, I want everybody to know this is just my personal opinion on the subject. Your list may be completely different, and that's completely fine. But this isn't your YouTube channel, homie. So we're talking about my list today. But like I said, because this list is so difficult to narrow down, to make it as simple as possible, I chose to factor in the team's achievements, their dominance in their era, and any statistical data that is relevant to the discussion. And to be clear, I'm not talking about the greatest dynasties ever or anything like that. I'm just talking about specific individual teams that had iconic defining moments in NBA history that allowed them to become immortalized in legend, which these moments were also taken into account while I was making this list. And like I said, even though there will be lots of stats in this breakdown, the stats alone did not determine where any team landed on this list, even though good stats helped make a good argument. But now with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump right into this list. And coming in at number 5, we have the 2015-2016 Cleveland Cavaliers. They had a regular season record of 57-25, which, decent. They had a postseason record of 16-3. And the 2015-16 Cleveland Cavaliers basically have a few claims to fame. They ended a major sports championship drought for the city that dated back to 1964 when the Browns finished at the top of the NFL. It wasn't the NFL then, but yeah. The Cleveland Cavaliers also became the 5th team since the first round was extended to a best-of-7 series in 2003 to go 8-0 through the first 2 rounds, and the first team to do it twice. They first did this in 2009. They also became the first team in NBA history to go 8-0 in the first 2 rounds and qualified to play for the NBA Finals. They also pulled off a historic series comeback after falling behind 3-1, which made it all the more impressive by the fact that they did it against the 73-win Golden State Warriors, and they did it on the road. So that's probably the most impressive, iconic moment from this team that made me put them at the number 5 spot. And this gave LeBron a title that he and some of his supporters, which I'm not one of, let's be clear, they used this title to support their argument that says it put him over the top in the GOAT debate against Michael Jordan. And again, I do not feel this way, but I'm just telling you what the word on the street is. But in that final series against the Golden State Warriors, LeBron led the Cavs in every major statistical category, averaging 29.7 points, 11.3 rebounds, and 8.9 assists. He also had 2.6 steals and 2.3 blocks per game. Of course, LeBron didn't pull this off on his own, though. Kyrie Irving had a higher average game score than any Warrior in the series, and he hit what may have been the biggest shot of his career in Game 7 to win it all. Then there's also Kevin Love, who was played off on the floor by the fast-paced Golden State Warriors on more than one occasion. But his clutch defense on Curry's late game heave in Game 7 is one of the lasting images of that season and probably saved that game. Like every other team on this list, though, the Cavs were about more than their stars. Can't forget J.R. Smith, Tristan Thompson, Richard Jefferson, Iman Shumpert, and Channing Frye all made meaningful contributions to this team as well. Coming in at number 4, I have the 2000 and the 2001 Los Angeles Lakers, who had a season record of 56-26. Again, not the greatest, but, good enough. Postseason record of 15-1. And they were the number 1 seed in the Western Conference that year, one of 2 teams to go almost undefeated in the playoffs. They have the second best playoff record, and they beat the Philadelphia 76ers 4-1 in the NBA Finals, giving the franchise its 13th championship. The 2000-2001 Lakers were coming off a championship from the previous season, of course. This was their second championship in a row, and the unstoppable duo of Shaquille O'Neal and a young Kobe Bryant made them virtually unstoppable in the playoffs of 2001. Although they were not the top-seeded team in the Western Conference that year, the Lakers, who were coached by Phil Jackson, displayed ultimate dominance in the postseason as they went undefeated in their trip to the finals, which is crazy. During their run to the playoffs, Shaquille O'Neal was the main contributor as he easily averaged a double-double with 30.4 points and 15.4 rebounds a game, where he would be named Finals MVP. On the other hand, Kobe Bryant emerged to become a scoring threat and an effective partner to Shaq by averaging 29.4 points and 6.1 assists. Great shit. Coming in at number 3, I got the 1991-1992 Chicago Bulls. Regular season record was 67-15, postseason record 15-7. Their achievements, they were first in the league that year in terms of offensive rating, which was 115.5. They were the number one seed in the Eastern Conference, and they had a 37-5 start to the season. They defeated the Portland Trail Blazers 4-2 in the NBA Finals for the championship, and they gave the franchise its second straight championship. If there's a team that preaches efficiency, the 91-92 Bulls should be on the top of your mind. Another team coached by Phil Jackson, this Bulls team was very deadly, especially with Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant, John Paxson, and Bill Cartwright on board. In the hunt for a second straight title, this was a hungry Bulls team that was in a class all of its own in the Eastern Conference, as no other team came close to touching 60 wins that season. Michael Jordan led the way for the Bulls by averaging 30.1 points, 6.4 rebounds, and 6.1 assists per game. His contributions were good enough to win the scoring title and to declare him an all-star for that season. Alongside Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen also played a crucial role by contributing 21 points, 7.7 rebounds, and 7 assists per game, as Pippen was also named to the All-Star team that same year. Horace Grant was a vital cog as well as this Bulls team, as he provided double-double averages of 14.2 points and 10 rebounds per outing. And they had a big 3 trio that eventually proved to be too much to handle for their opposing teams during their era, which included Patrick Ewing, Charles Oakley's Knicks, Mark Price's Cavs, and the Portland Trail Blazers with Clyde Drexler in the finals. So pretty good competition, if you ask me. This finals game against the Trail Blazers was over in 6 games, with a game 6 where the Bulls pulled out a 4-point win, 97-93. Jordan would have a game-high 33 points, which was enough to close out the series and hoist the coveted NBA trophy for the second straight year, on their way to the franchise's first three-peat the next year. Awesome story. Coming in at number 2 for me would be the 2016-2017 Golden State Warriors, who finished with a regular season record of 67-15 and a postseason record of 16-1. Their achievements that year were basically they had the best playoff record in NBA history. They were the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, and they were one of 2 teams to win 30 road games in back-to-back seasons. They were the fastest team to clinch a playoff berth. They were the league leader in team points per game. They were ranked first in offensive rating. They defeated the Cavaliers 4-1 in the NBA Finals, and they gave their franchise their 5th championship that year. So coming off a disappointing run in the previous season where the Warriors got defeated by the Cleveland Cavaliers in that fateful series where they came back from being down 3-1, the Warriors were eager as ever to bounce back and reclaim the NBA title, And boy, did they ever. The Warriors made some noise by signing all-star forward Kevin Durant this year from free agency, which drew a lot of flack as it rocked the NBA world, and everybody was getting pissed about the super teams and, superstars leaving one team to go to another team just to win a title, just ring chasing. And when they joined this team, they already had a bunch of all-stars. They had Stephen Curry, of course, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's addition just gave them another scoring option who could pretty much, score from anywhere. And with a super team like this, there was no question that the rest of the league struggled to keep up. The Warriors led the team in scoring as a team, while also becoming the most efficient team during that season. They finished the regular season with 3 players that managed to average over 22 points. Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and Kevin Durant averaged 25.3, 22.3, and 25.1 points respectively. Furthermore, the all-around efforts of Draymond Green complemented these 3 stars perfectly as he put up numbers of 10.2 points, 7.9 rebounds, and 7.0 assists per game. So once they were in the playoffs, the Warriors then marched to the finals undefeated in the postseason. However, they came face-to-face once again with their Eastern rival, LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers, but this time, the Warriors were much better prepared. They were super fucking explosive with Kevin Durant, and the Cavaliers struggled so bad that they only managed to get 1 win in the series, which was the only loss that the Warriors had suffered during that entire postseason. But despite that loss, the Warriors avoided the repeat of the previous season where they lost their 3-1 lead, and they finished the Cavaliers in Game 5. It was a really quick series. Kevin Durant was named Finals MVP, but it was evident that there were also 3 other candidates that were worthy of the MVP trophy. And that only goes to show how dominant that this Warriors team really was when they were at the peak of their performance. And coming in at number 1, I bet you guys can guess, but if you can't, it's the 1995-1996 Chicago Bulls, who had a regular season record of 72-10 and a postseason record of 15-3. To me, their most notable achievements were that they had the second most number of wins of a regular season team. They were the first team to win 70 games in a regular season. They started out 37-0 at home. They recorded a 44-game winning streak. They had the second most number of road wins, which was 33. They were the only team to win 70 games in a season and win the championship. They were Eastern Conference champions. They defeated the Seattle Supersonics back before they moved to the Oklahoma Thunder. And they beat the Supersonics 4-2 in the NBA Finals, which gave the franchise its 4th NBA championship. And good times, man, good times. And if there was any team that deserves the top spot on this list, and the title of the single greatest team of all time, in my opinion, I just think there's no argument that it has to be the 95-96 Bulls. This team showed complete mastery of the league by dominating the season and emerging as the overall champion in the league. The team was famously headlined by Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Dennis Rodman, with Michael Jordan coming out of retirement and getting eliminated by Orlando in the previous season. But the Bulls were more than motivated than ever to relive their three-peat glory days. When Michael Jordan came back, and he came back in the next season after this elimination, he went out to give MVP numbers as he averaged 30.4 points, 6.6 rebounds, and 4.3 assists per game. This was good enough to crown him as an all-star and the league's MVP. On the other hand, Scottie Pippen continued to be a terror on the wings of the court as he contributed 19.4 points, 6.4 rebounds, and 5.9 assists per game, which was good enough to name him to the all-star team. Dennis Rodman was a rebounding machine back in them days too, as he grabbed 14.9 rebounds per game. Another player that helped the Bulls was Tony Kukoc, or however the fuck you say his name. I always say it messed up. Kukoc, whatever. But he was a designated shooter from Croatia, and he shot 40% from beyond the arc, as he also have averaged about 13 points per game for the season, which is pretty good. With the complete team that the Bulls had in these times, they basically dominated the league, and they set the season record for most wins at the time. As of now, it's only been broken by one team, which we've already covered, was the 2015-2016 Golden State Warriors, who made it to 73 wins. Not a wide margin, but enough to get the record. So but to me, there's still one important achievement that separates the 95-96 Bulls from the 2015-2016 Warriors, and that's the championship. Not only did the Bulls dominate the season, but they also took home the trophy, and that automatically, in my mind, puts them above that team. So here, Michael Jordan and the Bulls got their 4th championship, and it would be the start of them going on to make another three-peat, which would again make history. But with their achievements, there's not a lot of teams I feel like that can come close to the 95-96 Chicago Bulls when it comes to them just displaying their sheer dominance and power. This is the reason why I put them in the top spot on this list as the best team that the modern basketball world has ever seen. But I know you guys probably disagree with my list, and I would like to hear what you guys think. Do you think I kind of got it right, or which teams would you take out and which teams would you put in? Would you have a completely different list, or would you just shuffle this list around? Why don't you let me know in the comment section down below? Let's talk about some NBA basketball, baby. If you found any entertainment value in this video, do me a favor. Drop a like, share the video, and subscribe to the channel because it helps out the algorithms and it helps the channel grow, and you know I will appreciate that. But other than that, that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you're all well, stay out of trouble, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.